Hello everyone, this is Ronnie, trying to get my whole self in this picture. And I just saw a video basically about, you sometimes see vegans make videos about ex-vegans, and it's always about how all these ex-vegans were raw vegans, and that's why they're an ex-vegan. And what you should do is have this healthy, balanced amount of plant foods, and somehow that's a healthy diet in some way. And the weird thing about it, for a bunch of the people that say these videos, firstly, a bunch of the vegans that make these videos themselves have been raw vegans or were raw vegans at one point or tried it out. So they're still vegan. How come they don't have an issue? You know? Oh, by the way, a lot of them are vegan because they learned from raw vegans. Oh, by the way, some of them became vegans because they came to events put on by raw vegans, including events I put on. So there's people that make these videos basically acting like, oh, there's these crazy raw food people, and look at the claims that they make. It's so unscientific. It's so this and that. And what you need to do is follow my advice and have a plant-based diet. And all these vegan doctors that are sort of doctors, kind of, they wear white coats and they have doctor in front of their name. They're kind of they've never worked with any patients or anything, but they're a doctor sort of, and they have some big foundation and they make loads of money, and but it's all really great and ethical. It's different from what other people do. Other people are doing bad things, but these doctors are good doctors. Like, uh, I get it. You can buy into the whole vegan doctors, and they're all these fantastic, great people, and they've got a good message and all that. Some of them, and but a lot of them are completely wrong about so many things. Nutrition wise, they're just way off. Even like Michael Greger, who you would think, oh, nutritionfacts.org, I mean, amazing. And his recommendations are things like mushrooms and nuts and beans and like indigestible foods, like foods that need to be cooked to be digestible, like foods that would be kind of dangerous to just go out and pick things like that. Mushrooms, beans, legumes, highly poisonous foods out in nature. Like, it's good that we've managed to, over years and years of farming, kind of made them edible. It's kind of good, and then you have to cook it to make sure that it doesn't totally kill you. But yeah, good legumes, sort of, whatever. Never digest particularly well. I mean, better than animal foods and all that. So the great claim of the plant-based vegan doctors movement is it's better than animal products. It's better than processed foods. But that's actually not what a lot of people are interested in. A lot of people want the best. What is the best, the healthiest? What is the best thing? A lot of people are looking for the truth. So, well, I'm just saying that. But it's crazy. A lot of these people that make these videos have themselves been raw vegans, are not are raw vegans, have been raw vegans, learned from raw vegans, came to raw vegan events, and then they've jumped over to the vegan world or plant-based because they think that's where the trend is. I better jump over there. Oh, the trend's moved again. I better jump over there. And that's all they're gonna do. Like, they're just trend jumpers. And this person's no longer popular. Oh, I'm just gonna pretend I never learned from that person. I never went to their events. I never was part of that thing. Like, it's shameful. And I see it all, and I know it all. So, do I want to expose all this? Not really. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun. There's a lot of things I could expose, but when you've been and around this for so long, you've been like, I've been to so many events and so many things that I know a lot of stuff. No, but and I'm sure people know stuff about me. I'm not the perfect person either, so it's fair enough. But but there's people that have been raw that are no longer vegan. There's people who were never raw who are no longer vegan. There's way more people who were never raw who are no longer vegan. Way, 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 more, millions more, maybe hundreds of thousands more, maybe thousands more. How many people have tried being a vegetarian and are no longer a vegetarian? Probably millions. How many of them were raw? Tiny amounts. We need to stop this nonsense that every single person that's fallen off. And it's always like presented like, well, I every time I've seen, I've seen this pattern. Everyone that falls off of a vegan diet, they're all used to be raw. Like, it's rubbish. It's total rubbish. I mean, there are influencers, but influencers make up a tiny percent of the whole thing. And the reason that there's our influencers that were trying out raw is because at one point, so many of the big influencers were raw or were trying out raw. Because it just so happened that there was a bunch of big raw vegan influencers in the vegan movement. And then a whole bunch of vegan people, plant-based people eventually came along and eventually understood YouTube and all this. And eventually they started to put out content. And the whole message is a bit of a lie. It's like, oh, well, it's easier to do the plant-based diet. It's easier to do. Oh, I would have never done a raw vegan diet, but I can do the plant-based diet because I would miss cooked food. Like, these are people that are just going out to restaurants and having everything. Like, this is not a healthy lifestyle. Like, no one's having a healthy plant-based lifestyle, basically. Everyone's eating whatever they like. Every single one of these people, plant-based and vegan and healthy and all this. Healthy vegan. They're all eating vegan ice cream, vegan pizza, vegan... like, it's all nonsense, right? Those vegan processed burgers and all that. All delicious. I'm sure it's all delicious, but I'm just like, if you're trying to say that people fall off a vegan diet because they don't feel healthy, most of that's not the reason anyway. Most of people fall off these diets because of peer pressure, and they can't deal with people around them doing something different to them. They don't. Most of these people, they've got no, I don't know if it's belief or confidence in themselves. They can't stand up for themselves and be themselves. They have to follow the crowd. And I don't know about you. I'm not saying I follow the crowd with loads of things. I follow the crowd with loads of things. But with my diet stuff, I tend not to follow the crowd. I made that conscious decision. I was like 15 or 16 years old, and everyone starts drinking alcohol, and I experimented with it a little bit. And I talked to a friend, and he said, that why would you drink alcohol? That's stupid. And I thought about it a bit more. I was like, he's right. Why the hell would I drink alcohol? What's the point? And I never drank alcohol basically again. I have a couple of times, but basically ever again. Pretty much the same with drugs. Pretty much the same with a whole range of things. With diet now. And a lot of people have never developed that backbone. And do you not think I've been in places millions of times where I've been offered drinks and offered things and offered food and I've had to say no? Do you not think that's happened loads of times when it would have been easier to just say yes? When it would have been to my benefit to say yes? So many times. But that's the difference between me and someone that gets some new friends and all of a sudden, no, I can't stay on a vegan diet. I need to go along with my friends. Like, that's what happens. Oh, I've married a new guy. I need to just eat what he eats. That's what happens. Oh, we're all in Hawaii and the popular guy started eating meat again. We better all go along with him. That's the kind of weakness in people. It's just weak. And it happened again and again and again, and then they all go back to eating junk food, and then they all blame the raw vegan diet, or they blame the vegan diet or something. They say, oh, I was feeling so unhealthy. And because a guy like me's been around, I'm like, you never looked unhealthy. You were teaching fitness classes. You were running around. You never even said anything about being unhealthy. So either you're just a liar, therefore you're always a liar, therefore we can't trust anything you say, or you're deluded, or you're hiding it really super well. You're really super hiding it well. You were standing up on stage speaking to people, running around, doing fitness activities, and you were telling us you had the best experience of your life on a vegan diet and all that. So So yeah, and a bunch of people came into the same thing. A bunch of people came into the raw vegan diet because there was charismatic leaders for a while. At some point, there was charismatic, young, fit leaders that inspired people, and they all wanted to try and be that. And then when those people kind of disappeared or went away and did something else, they all went away and did something else. They just followed the leader, follow around. Never really figured out for themselves what was right. So a lot of these people don't have a foundation. They don't have any kind of foundation of themselves, what they want in life, who they want to be. I want to be the healthiest. I don't really want to be the fit in. I don't want my health to be limited because I want to fit in with some people. I want to create an entire environment for myself in which it's positive for me to be doing what I'm doing. So there's certain jobs that I could maybe do well at, but I would have to conform to a particular type of lifestyle. I'd have to drink. I would have to wine and dine people. I'd have to do that. Well, I need to not work in that situation, even though it might be good. It might be make more money doing that. But I need to figure out another situation. Because I don't just want to fit. I just want to go. Yeah, I'm just going to degrade my health for some temporary job thing and temporary money thing. It doesn't make sense. So I don't know. It's weird, but people are kind of hiding the fact that they were a raw vegan, or they were into the raw vegan diet, or they were interested in it, and they're hiding why they were interested in it and what motivated them. And some of them are hiding the fact that motivated them more than veganism did. Now they're all saying, "Oh, it was always about the animals." So people say all sorts of things. Oh, it was about the animals. Yeah, it was always about the animals. Oh, didn't really seem like that when I met you and you had those health issues and you were trying to deal with. Didn't really seem like it. So I don't know what else to say. Like I think that ultimately common sense, science, everything else. The obvious thing. I mean, there's that graphic. There's a funny thing with Dr. McDougall, right? Dr. John McDougall, big proponent of veganism, done an amazing job. I've learned a lot from Dr. John McDougall. I'd love to go and learn more from him. I'm happy to. But I don't follow his diet, the starch-based diet. I don't believe that humans should have a starch-based diet. Do I think it's better than what most people eat? Yes. Do I wish lots of people I know were on it who aren't anywhere near that? Yes, of course I do. Would that be easier for them? I don't know. Because I don't know if it will get the result that some people are looking for, to be honest. But it might get a better result. But he was saying, oh, he'll say things like the human tongue is designed for tasting sweetness, like sweet potato, sweet corn. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? It's obviously for fruit. Like, we're primates. Like, this is the thing about the raw vegan diet. Like, everything works out in our favor. It's truth. Like, no one can argue with us, really. Because what are you going to argue about? You just pull up that picture. Carnivores, omnivores, herbivores, locavores, frugivores, humans. And it's like, frugivores, humans, every single like teeth, digestive system, sexual reproduction, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, length of that, this and that. Everything's like matched with the frugivorous primates. We're frugivores. People are so desperate to believe that we're designed to eat cooked food just because they're addicted to cooked food. They don't want to believe it. But they've tried to go out without cooked food and they can't. And they don't want to accept that. You know, and they might be great, successful people in so many different ways. But they couldn't do that. They failed. And they can't handle that. And that's why a lot of these people come out with videos against the raw food diet. They couldn't do it. They failed. And it is a failure. They weren't able to do it. They were too weak. They were caught up in it just because someone else told. They weren't actually thinking about what they were really doing. a lot of the time. You got to do it for you. Work out why you want to do it, not just because some charismatic leader. Oh, I just want to follow along. Like that can get you somewhere, but ultimately you have to sit down, think about what you're doing. Why are you doing it? Do you want to be as healthy as you can possibly be? Do you want to feel the level of healing at a high level, the highest level? You want to give your body the biggest gift you can give your body. It's a raw vegan diet. So it's all funny. It's all crazy and funny. And the other thing I want to say is, I think I might have already said it about the fact. Yeah. Well, another thing they don't want to accept is that people have issues with a cooked vegan diet. They do not want to accept that. They want to believe that that doesn't happen, and it does happen. People do have issues with a cooked vegan diet, and people have issues with a raw vegan diet, but mostly the issues are to do with them not really doing the diet that well. And sometimes you get people who don't want to do it well, like they want it to not work in some way. They're kind of sabotaging themselves. But there are people that at least they claim they were doing the vegan diet right, and they didn't feel good either. So you can't just say it's all raw vegans and that's what it all comes down to. Essentially, there are people that are so sick, their body is so damaged that when they eat a vegan diet, it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good for them. They have to go raw. And then some of them, when they go raw, they get bloated or they get this and that. It's like they've got damage in their system. They can't just accept it. They can't just go, I need to let this system heal. I need to accept that it's damaged. I need to accept that I'm going to have times of discomfort. So it's all these things come together. And I just can't get around human beings are frugivores. Like, how could we eat anything better than raw foods? How can we take foods? If you think about anything, let's say you use Play-Doh or something, or you're an artist and you use paints, or you're a painter and you use paints, or you're, I don't know, a builder and you use different substances, right? And if I came along and said, let me just take that substance, I'm going to make it better, I'm going to put it in the oven for 2 hours. Well, I don't know, maybe in some situations it does make it better. But I'm sure a lot of the time people are like, what are you doing? Why would you want to burn and basically destroy this thing? It's the same thing with cooking. You're taking something and you're burning it. Maybe not totally burning it, but you're superheating it to the point that it basically completely changes chemical structure, like it creates fumes and gases, often that are carcinogenic or problematic in some way. Takes foods that we can't eat, we can't digest, and forces them to be digestible. So that's a little rant for today, but we're all kind of fighting the same cause. All of us want people to get away from the animal diet, the thing of eating dead animal flesh and animal periods and animal milk. Like, it's just crazy. And I think that's happening rapidly. And to be fair, it's going to happen because of the cooked vegan, because of those vegan companies that are making stuff that's going to be exactly like meat. That's why it's going to happen quickly. It's not going to happen because of the health measures and the this and the that. Not really, because the education isn't getting out there very quickly. It's starting to. It's all starting to get out there. But if you give the average person the choice, here's steak number 1, murder, torture, and here's steak number 2, totally ethical, and they taste the same, you're going to get a lot of people starting to go towards the total non-torture murder one. Because that's the only thing that holds a lot of people back from going vegan, is their perception of the taste. That's the only thing. And if you ask your friends that question, okay, you've got 2 burgers. This one is made out of a dead animal. In fact, even simpler, this one is made out of the animal factory farm. This is made out of the animal it was free range, which one do you choose? And it's the same price, same health effects, same everything. I would choose free range. Everyone chooses free range. Maybe some people say they don't care, but if it's exactly the same, most people say free range. That in itself is the start of veganism. That in itself is the essence of every single person being a vegan, because we go for the kinder option 100% of the time. So if you take that free range and you can have another burger that tastes exactly the same, feels the same health effects, everything's the same, but it's made from plants and not an animal that got killed, which do you choose? And it tastes the same. You're going to get a lot of people who are going to say, yeah, I would choose that. At least some of the time they would choose that. And so I think that's the first way that things start to go vegan, is the vegan junk food side of things. And that'll be enough. That'll be enough to have a crazy impact, hopefully. But people will be able, but we still need to get away. Like, we can't, like, the whole world could go vegan. It could still be unhealthy. People could still have vegan cheese, vegan ice cream, all that stuff, and you still have loads of fat, sick people. So it always is going to come back to fruit. Fruit is the simplest message of health. And I don't even like any more fruit and a little bit of greens and a little bit of nuts. Like, forget all that stuff. Fruit. Focus on fruit. If you're totally sick, just eat fruit. You know, if you're overweight, just eat fruit. Don't worry about the rest of it. You can deal with that. If you want to add some of that stuff to your diet, you can do that in time. But focus on fruit right now. Go 100% fruit. Take one fruit and eat it for a month and just do that. It's such a simple, clear message for people. So anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe, share, leave a comment, and you can join. The course is going to have another run on Thursday, starting from the week after that. You can join me, rawvegancourse.com/Ronnie, and you can join up there and we'll do a webinar. rawvegancourse.com/Ronnie, and thank you for watching.